Good. Because you're not really following me. You're following the kids. I have a boardroom. I rant and rave like a lunatic, and the crazier I am, the higher the ratings. So I said, okay, I like that idea. We shook hands, and that was it. We became 50-50 partners. Then my agent, one of the biggest in Hollywood, called me and said, I heard you agreed to do this show called The Apprentice, a reality show. I don't want you to do it. No business show in the history of television has ever made it in prime time. Never once. I said, you know, you're right. But I added, I have a problem. I shook his hand. I had agreed, and now this guy, my agent, was telling me it was a bad move. Your word is golden. That is another very important thing. When you shake somebody's hand, go with it. It's very important. Shaking hands with someone means you are making a deal. You are giving your word. If you back out after you have shaken hands on a deal, then people will never trust you again. But my agent didn't care. He said, I won't let you do it. He called Mark Burnett to tell him the deal was off. Mark called me up and said, your agent called, and he's canceling The Apprentice. I said, Mark, I shook your hand. I don't know if it's good or bad. My agent told me that 98% of the shows that go on television fail, which I did not know before I made the deal. I didn't know that no business show has ever made it in prime time, so I went into the deal because I didn't know any better. But something told me this was a good guy, and this deal would work out. I had shaken his hand, so I decided to go with it. Later, after we announced The Apprentice, NBC and every network were fighting over it. ABC won, but Michael Eisner tried to better the deal made by his executives, so we dropped them and went with NBC, which was headed by a really great guy who loved the show, Jeff Zucker. When it went on the air, it started at number 10 for the first week, which is huge. It then went to number 8, then to number 5, and then number 3. Finally, it became the number 1 show on television, and its finale, which drew tremendous numbers, was easily the number 1 show of the week, even against strong competition. All of a sudden, I was a freaking television star. Can you believe that? A real estate guy like me becoming a star. I'll never forget, I went to the upfronts at Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. All television networks have what they call upfronts, where they show off their new season. Big stars were there, Whoopi Goldberg, Rob Lowe, and many others. Not only did my show become number 1, every single new show on NBC died, except for The Apprentice. After The Apprentice became the number 1 show, I got a call from my agent. He said, Donald, congratulations. You've just gone to number 1. Ha, I'd like to come and see you. I said, what would you like to see me about? He said, well, I think I'm entitled to a commission. Can you believe this shit? I said, really? But you were totally opposed to doing it. Well, I know that, but I wasn't really that opposed. I said, how much commission do you think you should get? He said, I think $3 million would be appropriate. I said, you're fired. Some things work because you do not know they are impossible. When NBC agreed to do The Apprentice, few people thought it would make it. They did not even have an option for a second season. I'm the only schmuck who figured it could work because I did not know anything about television. Then, on my birthday, at 6:30 a.m., I get a call from the chairman of NBC, a fantastic guy named Bob Wright. Donald, I just called to wish you a happy birthday. I could hardly believe it. Then I get another call at about 7 o'clock from the president of NBC, Jeff Zucker, who had the guts to go with The Apprentice in the first place. He said, Donald, I just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. Then my wife, Melania, rolled over and said, Who was that? I said, "Some people from NBC wishing me a happy birthday." She said, "Happy birthday, darling." Can you believe that? The heads of NBC wished me a happy birthday before 7 in the morning. Not long after, Jeff Zucker, the then president of NBC, spoke at a big meeting and said something I will never forget, because Friends was in its last season, and The Apprentice followed Friends. He said, very, very nicely, "Donald Trump may not have hair as good as Jennifer Aniston, but he's got great ratings." I didn't mind that he made a crack about my hair because everyone else does, but the show is a big hit. At that point, I had no agent, I had no contract, and I had a big hit show. And NBC was really hot to make a new deal. I had to fend for myself, but I knew I had all of the cards. No entertainment experience, but all of the cards. About that time, I read an article in the New York Post that every member of the Friends cast for the last year made $2 million per show. There are 6 characters, and they all stuck together, which was very smart. They each got $2 million per show. When NBC came to see me, they said, "We'd like to extend you for a 3-year period." I decided I was going to be tough. I thought, this is going to be fun. You do not have to be a genius to know that if you have the #1 show, you have the network by the you-know-what. I said, "I want Friends-type money," and I kiddingly slammed my fists on the table. Remember, these are friends of mine. And the NBC people said, "Whoa, we think we can do that." They thought I wanted $2 million an episode, like the stars of Friends. I said, No, you don't understand. There are 6 of them, and there's only 1 of me. Therefore, I want $12 million a show. They got a little concerned at my request, but we made a deal for much less money, and everybody was happy. It has worked out very nicely for everyone, and has been a great success. Now, here is a show that was not supposed to work, but it did. It worked because I took a chance. Go with your gut. Take chances. If you think you have the ingredients that you need, take chances, because your biggest successes will happen when you go against the tide, when you take a risk, and it works. The NBC people were and are great. Mark Burnett is great, and Donald Trump is at least okay. Going with your instincts takes some practice. But first, you must decide that you are going to tune in to them. Instincts are a part of every highly charged situation that matters a lot to you, and tuning into them requires extreme focus, like that of a skier navigating a tough slope, or an accountant trying to pass the CPA exam. In these do-or-die situations, there is not enough time to be 100% logical. That's too slow. When time is short, and you have big stakes in the game, you have to go with your gut. A blend of logic and instincts will produce the best decisions. When I was acquiring 40 Wall Street, and literally every person I met with recommended that it be turned into residential units, I did not agree. My gut instincts told me it was a great business location. I trusted my instincts, and the building now houses many thriving businesses. It has been a lucrative deal. When I first started building golf courses, my instincts told me it was a good business decision. I knew if I combined my passion for golf with my knowledge of real estate, I would succeed. I found the best golf course designers in the world and spent many hours working with them. The results have been spectacular, because I paired both instinct and logic. But perhaps most importantly, I found the best locations. Practice listening to your instincts. Play with this skill and test it out on small decisions. Learn to trust it. You will acquire a real edge in both your business and your personal life. Use this skill to choose who you date and who you trust to babysit your children, which are truly important decisions. Many things are hidden from us that we cannot articulate logically, but somehow we know they are there. We have a vague feeling that cannot be explained, but this feeling in and of itself is information enough for us to take notice and consider. You can know whether the feeling is good or bad. If you have a good feeling about something, go ahead with it. If the feeling is bad, proceed with caution. Your instincts are there to guide you. Use them. When action is better than information. Andy Grove, the former CEO of Intel, once said, "Dive deep into the data, then trust your gut." I think this best describes my approach to decision-making. I dive as deeply as I can into the facts and figures of a difficult situation. I use logic and reason to interpret the data. I make informed estimates based on past history and experience. Then, I go with my gut instincts. If I need to wait a few days for more information, I weigh the cost of waiting against the benefit of more information. If I need to act immediately to make significant profits, I act immediately. If it doesn't matter very much if I wait a few days for more results, I wait. But timing is everything. Instinct has a lot to do with timing. You have to be patient and wait for your instincts to tell you the best time to make your move. I sometimes think about buying a piece of property or using a certain design style for months or years without acting on it. Then all of a sudden, I will get the feeling that it is time. When I start checking around, I usually will find that things have changed. An opening is there that was not there before. Instinct alerted me to the opportunity. Then I act quickly to make it happen. I have waited for many years